Today we're going to review Skidmore, which is a bolt tension measuring device. We're going to go over the accessories, what you may need to do successful testing on your site. First things I want to go over are the bushings. These bushings depend on what kind of bolts you're using, whether they're hex or TC bolts, and you can see the differences in the styles. We also have spacer bushings, which are for longer bolts, which we will demonstrate later. We also have plates, which go in the front, depending on if you have a short bolt or a regular size bolt, or if you are using a direct tension indicator, which we also call DTIs, depends on which plate you're going to need. And then we also have spacer kits to help you get your bolts flush or 3 threads or less showing. And we also have a reaction bar, and these come in handy for when you have a tool that has a reaction arm. So it gives them something to react against. They are fastened against the Skidmore with these 2 bolts. So before we put it together and demonstrate how to use the accessories, I want to review the gauge a little bit first. So when we're looking at the gauge, these are kips or pounds per force. For every pounds per force, which is 1,000, it is 1 kip. So that's our measurement that we're using for tension. How this gauge is read, where the needle sits right now, is already at 4 kips or 4,000 pounds per force. Every little notch after that is 2. We have a long notch right there, so that would be 10,000, and then we have 20,000 here. So from 20,000, every 20,000 is where you're going to see a number. So now we're going to assemble it, show you the proper way to put this together. You want to make sure that when you put this on, you just hand tighten these. You don't need to do anything other than that. Bushing goes first. Going to put it in from the back. And remember to just wiggle it lightly. Don't force it. Don't hammer it in. So it's nice and flush, so we know that it is in there properly. We're going to use a C-clip to make sure that it doesn't come out. Just secure it in there. Okay, there's your C-clip. Next step is the plate. We're going to line up the holes and put them in. You don't need to use all 4. At least use 2. So we're going to go ahead and you're going to hand tighten these in. They don't need to be put in any other way. They don't need to be very tight, just to keep them from falling and to keep your toes safe. So hand tighten those. The next step would be to put on our reaction bar if you're using a tool that needs a reaction arm. This is beveled because this is round. So make sure that that is in the correct place, because if we were to put it this way, it wouldn't fit. We have the screws to come with it, the bolts to put it on. Excuse me. Hand tighten, that's all you need to do. This is aluminum. You don't want to use an impact wrench on these. Hand tighten them in. And there you go. Your Skidmore is all set up and ready to go. The alternate setup for this would be if we had a long bolt. When the bolt is placed inside the Skidmore and we have the end of the bolt sticking out, when we go ahead and we put on the hardware, such as the washer and the nut, we want to make sure that we have 3 threads showing or flush. In the instance of having a long bolt and a tool that is using one of these reaction arms, if that bolt is way out here, it can't react against the reaction bar. So they make these bushings to go in the back that pull that bolt further back, so there's less thread showing on this end. The reason why you would want to use a spacer bushing is for a longer bolt, to make sure that you can get that 3 threads or less, so that you can use a reaction arm against the reaction bar. And we're going to review why we would need to have a spacer kit. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a TC bushing, because we're going to use a TC bolt. When we properly install these, bolts, we're supposed to have 3 threads or flush. As you can see here, we're well above that. What we would use in this case is a spacer kit. I'm going to go ahead and start with a small one. Then we will put the washer. Then we will put the nut. We still have 2 showing. We could use just a little bit bigger. We have a different sized one that we could use. Even though we are less than 3 threads showing, this will be fine. We could do that, or we could go ahead and make it flush by using this size. As you can see, there are many different types of accessories for your Skidmore. So when you call in, make sure you have your bolt diameter, your bolt length, and that way we can make sure you have the exact accessories that you need to make your testing successful. If you found this information useful, please like and subscribe. Follow us on LinkedIn. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say embarrassed.
No!